Hello and welcome to just another Vermintide 2 build video. Today I want to share with you my choices for one of my favorite classes, the Foot Knight career for Markus Kruber. So I would say we start directly with the talents. So let's have a look what we've got. We've got the passive ability, Protective Presence, aura that reduces damage taken by 15%. And the career skill is Valiant Charge. Markus charges forward, slamming into enemies and knocking them back. And he's got two perks. The first one is Tart Fortitude. It grants an extra stamina shield. And the other one is No Guts, No Glory. Sorry. It reduces damage taken by 10%. So this is all pretty straightforward. Let's have a look at the career skill first, which is Valiant Charge. If you hold F, you can see the line straight forward in which you were charging. And if you let go, you charge forward and slam down enemies. What's important to know about this career skill is that you can cancel it, that you don't have to run the full distance that is shown. But if you cancel it with the right mouse button by default, you just push away enemies in front of you, which is important in situations where you can't charge the full distance because you would fall off a cliff or something like that. Which of course would never ever happen to me. I'm an expert in not falling down from cliffs. So, you let go and cancel directly with right mouse button, and as you can see, you just swing your left arm and your ultimate is cancelled, but you still knock back the enemies and get the effects. So to show off the career skill in practice, first we start with the normal one, so full charge into one direction. Okay, the enemy's falling faster than I was expecting. 1 moment. I just take out my rage on the troop. Bam! You charge in and knock back all the enemies in front of you. And now in comparison, what happens if you cancel the ultimate. So, charging and cancel it with the right mouse button. Still get the effects and the knockback. So I charge just a little bit instead of the full range here. So back in the fort, and let's start with the talents. The level 5 talent row as always is a self-healing talent row. First off, we've got Back of Ugly. Staggering enemies with a melee attack grants temporary health, and it is gained based on the stagger range. We've got Bloody Unstoppable. Damaging multiple enemies in one swing with a melee weapon grants temporary health, and it goes up to a maximum of 5 enemies. And Templar's Rally, which is of course healing yourself, also heals your teammates. As always, this is an option in my opinion, but I think you are better off with one of these two here. Depends a bit on which weapon you want to use. If you want to use a weapon like the Executioner Sword, or the Hammer, the Great Hammer, or like the Mace, it's probably easier to hit multiple enemies in one swing. So this might be a slightly better option. But then, since I wanna play with a shield and a sword, I go for Back of Ugly, so staggering enemies will heal myself. And this comes pretty handy with another talent that we'll come to in a minute, which increases my stagger range or my staggering power. And yeah, so you want to stagger often, and yeah, that's why I go for Back of Ugly. So in the next talent row, we've got what I mentioned before, the Staggering Force talent, which increases the stagger power by 35%. So back of Ugly, you gain health depending on your stagger range, and this talent here, which I choose, increases your stagger power by 35%. So you even get more staggering power, which means, again, you get more health out of this talent here. This is a nice synergy. The other talents here in the talent row are Hefet Z. Staggering an elite enemy increases power by 15% for 10 seconds. And Cloud Clearer. Pushing an enemy increases the attack speed by 15% for 3 seconds. All talents are fine in this talent row. But still, I think you have the most out of it if you choose Staggering Force. Staggering is so much important in this game, and this might be the best option. If you play on higher difficulties like Cataclysm, where you have a lot of elite enemies, this talent here can help you a lot to gain more power and get rid of these elite enemies faster, of course. So for the higher difficulties, this is a better option than if you play in the lower difficulties where you have less elite enemies that you can stagger. Yeah. And this one here is a viable talent, in my opinion, on all difficulties. Level 15 is like almost the same for every class. We've got Bulwark, we've got Mainstay, and we've got Enhanced Power. Enhanced Power just increases the power level, and like I said in other build videos, Enhanced Power is more likely for you if you play more of a ranged character like the Way Stalker, Way Watcher, the first Carillion class. Or like the Bounty Hunter maybe, or the Hunter class. I went for Mainstay here, so ideal 40% more damage to staggered enemies. And each hit against a staggered enemy also has another count of stagger, so that the bonus damage is increased to 60%. If the enemy has more than one stagger effect on it. And yeah, this comes pretty handy with Staggering Force and again, Back of Ugly. For the level 20 talent row, we've got first Rock of the Reichland. Protective presence size is doubled and also grants 20% block cost reduction. Protective presence is the aura that you have that reduces the damage taken by 15%. So if the radius is increased, you've got a wider range for your team to get the effect of the aura and also reducing the block cost a little bit. The second talent is That's Bloody Teamwork. It increases the damage reduction from Protective Presence by 5% for each nearby ally. So this goes on top of the 15%, which means if you have all your teammates around you, you get 15% on top of that, which means you have 30% damage reduction in total. But it of course works only if you have your team around you. And the last one is Comrades in Arms. Kruber gains 10% increased power. The closest ally to Kruber gains 50% damage reduction and 10% increased power. And the passive aura from Protective Presence no longer affects all allies. Which means that you have only one person in your group that gets reduced damage taken and increased damage for you and for that person. Yeah, I don't get it, to be honest. If you just play with a friend and maybe want to try a duo run, this works really well if you don't play with bots or other teammates. But on normal gameplay, you want to be the main tank. You want to be protective for your team. So choosing That's Bloody Teamwork is the best option here in this talent row. This one here might work as well, but in comparison, That's Bloody Teamwork is way more better for the whole team and to be more tanky and help the team more. 2 more talent rows to go. Let's start with level 25. The first talent is It's Hero's Time. Resets the cooldown of Valiant Charge when an ally is incapacitated. The second one is Counterpunch. Blocking an attack removes the stamina cost of pushing for 1 second. And the last one is Inspiring Blow. Staggering an elite enemy accelerates the cooldown of nearby allies by 100% for 0.5 seconds. It's hero time. So, this talent here only works if an ally is incapacitated, which means, for example, gets hooked by hook rat, grabbed by a leech, pinned down by an assassin, for example, these cases. So in that case, you get free ultimates. But yeah, if you look at it, 27 seconds isn't that much of a high cooldown. And yeah, I think it's fine if you go without this talent. It's very situational. If your team is good enough and you don't come in that much situations where an ally is incapacitated, you get nothing out of it for the whole game. In the best case, which means your team is good enough to evade all of this. But still, even if one teammate is incapacitated, I think there are other options than to charge in the enemy that incapacitated your teammate. So I wouldn't go for this one here. This one here is a tough choice. I chose Inspiring Blow. I play mostly on Legendary or on Cataclysm. And there are a bunch of elite enemies, so accelerating the cooldown not only for me, but for my allies around me gives me the most team option in my opinion. On lower difficulties, where you don't have that much elite enemies around, Counter Punch might be the better option. Which means you block an attack and you instantly push back the enemies so you don't waste the stamina shield for the pushing. I think this one here is a great overall option. Might be a good choice as well as Inspiring Blow is. Especially if you don't play on that high difficulties. Last but not least, we've got the talent row to improve your career skill. First we've got Numb to Pain. Radiant Charge against invulnerability. I knew I wouldn't be able to spell it. Invulnerability for 3 seconds. The second one is Battering Ram. Doubles the weight of Valiant Charge and allows Kruber to charge through great foes. And we've got Bull of Ostland. Each enemy hit with Valiant Charge grants 3% attack speed for 10 seconds. And it stacks up to 10 times. I choose Numb to Pain here, so if I use my career skill, I can get 3 hits for the next 3 seconds, which makes me a lot more tankier than I am with the other talents here. This one here sounds good on paper, but if I showed earlier, if you are going to cancel your career skill, so that you just stand in place and just push back the enemies and stagger them, you don't get much use out of it, and this is what I'm going to do most of the time. just pushing back the enemies direct in place to give me a bit of free space. And yeah, this one here, increased attack speed, sounds nice. But since I'm going to be the main tank in my team and to get all the damage in, I feel that numb to pain is the way better option in this style of gameplay. With the talents done, we now take a look at the equipment. I prefer playing with sword and shield when I'm playing with the Foot Knight. And my properties and my traits are the following. Properties at the moment, 2.0 stamina and 30% push block angle, which means I can block attacks from a wider range and got 1 stamina shield in total extra. The trait of balance, blocking and attack increases damage the attack takes by 20% for 5 seconds. My god, I'm sorry. It's a good option for the team in my opinion, because like I said earlier before, I want to be the main tank. I want to block often the attacks that incoming, and this one here increases the damage the attacker takes, so my team can get rid of it early on. But there's another trait that I want to show off. I hope that I can re-roll it fast. This one. Yeah, that's a fine option as well. This one here is a good one. Time blocks reduces stamina cost by 100%, which, yeah, isn't too hard to pull off, but needs a little bit of training. But it's a good option as well. That's one I already had. Okay. That's a fine one, but not something I want. This is the one I was looking for. Heroic Intervention. Assisting an ally under attack restores 15 temporary health for both players. So you can heal yourself and the teammate that was under attack if you go for this trait here. This might be my second favorite, if not maybe a better option. It's a situational one, yeah, but it can help a lot if in dangerous situations. So much for the melee weapon. When it comes to range, I prefer using the blunderbuss over the other weapons. My properties are 10% power versus chaos and 5% crit chance. And the trait is Hunter, so critical hits increase the attack power by 25% against targets with the same armor class for a short time. Yeah, not so much to say about it. My necklace is the same I'm using for every class, to be honest. The properties are plus 2.0 stamina and plus 20% health. And the trait is Bark Skin. Taking damage reduces the damage you take from the subsequent sources by 40% for 2 seconds. And that only can trigger every 2 seconds. Yeah, as you can see, I have it equipped on all my other heroes as well. So 1 extra stamina shield and 20% health is very useful for every class in my opinion. The charm has the properties 5% attack speed and 10% power versus Skaven. And for the trait I use Decanter, and it increases the duration of potions by 50%. Last but not least, the Trinket. The properties are 10% cooldown reduction, and if you play on Legendary or below, I would recommend the 33% curse resistance. So you can carry Grimes and not get that much health decrease if you use this property. And for the trade, or using Grenadier, 25% chance not to consume a grenade on use. If you don't want the curse resistance, because you're playing on Cataclysm, or you don't carry Grimes, or you don't care, I switch out to this trinket here. The cooldown reduction stays, but now I have a 5% crit chance, mostly because I only have these 2 trinkets and I don't want to reroll every time I switch my career, so I almost stay the same with every class. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.